Hello everyone, this is Al Spectral. Welcome back to the Land of Empires. And today I want to go over 10 fun facts and tips about the Land of Empires, which I think players will find quite useful. So let's dive straight into it. The first fact is that evil depths actually stack. So if you were to go to domination and occupation bonuses, you will only be able to see what does not stack in this menu. So basically, there are four levels of depths. There's level 1 through 4, and popular belief says that you can only stack depths of the similar property, of the same property across different levels. So for example, people would stack a level 2 and a level 4 attack depths in order to achieve a higher percentage. However, if you go to your basic stats here, my game is frozen. Okay, never mind. If you go to your basic stats here, in other words, the city information, and look at your bonuses, you'll be able to see that the depth stats stack. So to just quickly showcase an example here, all troop defense, I have 29% from territory. And this percentage is impossible to achieve if you were to assume that the depths of the same level do not stack. So that is tip number 1. If you are in an early alliance, especially in the early seasons, definitely try to expand out your territory. You may encounter a lot of enemies, but especially later on when there are only 1 or 2 top alliances on the server, I would expand your territory to capture, say, all the level 4 depths, because this is a very nice early game stat boost, as well as the research depths, which is probably this one. Yeah, the research depths are level 3, and you can actually capture up to 4 of them. So you can get a lot of research speed early on, and this will give you a significant boost over your competition. Finally, you can also capture the building speed. I mean, I know there's building speed depths, but I kind of forgot what there are. I think here. Yes, so building speed. So there's research speed and there's building speed. Since you know that they do stack, make sure to capture a lot of them. And also, once you get into the late game, it's very useful as well to capture the training speed stats. There are roughly 8 training speed, I think 8 to 10 training speed depths scattered across the map. They're all 5%, so you can get quite a lot of extra training speed percentage by capturing those depths. So the next fact I want to mention is that the march speed, which is advertised here, does not involve anything related to PvP. So it would be very nice to have up to 60% march speed boost for your marches going towards an enemy castle. However, this does not apply to rallies, marches, or anything of that sort. It only applies to PvE related attacks towards just a regular enemy or a resource tile. So that is fact number 2. March speed of any kind, whether that's advertised on a skin or from the level 3 evil depths or from any kind of talent, they do not affect anything related to PvP, at least right now. Fact number 3, and this is also one thing that was covered in one of my videos, is that you can lower the number of troops lost in combat once your hospital fills up by collecting troops from the Valor menu. So each time you get attacked or you attack someone and incur losses after your hospital is full, 7% of those troops will be eligible for immediate collection. However, if you do not collect them and you suffer losses again, the new losses will not overwrite the old losses, meaning that if you have 1 troop eligible for collection in here and you suffer, say, 80,000 deaths, those 7% of that 80,000 will be gone forever. They will not be eligible for resurrection. They will not be transferred under the Hall of Valor. They will be lost forever. So make sure, no matter what the amount of troops is, whether it's 1 or 10,000 immediately collectible, collect them right away and that will save you a lot of troops in the long run. So that is fact number 3. Fact number 4 is that you can kind of, quite a few people have done this accidentally, and some people use it to their advantage. And that is you can chase a player, whether that is in open field PvP or the Lost Shrine, by either scouting or attacking them as they are teleporting away. So when they are teleporting, if you are already in the attack menu, you can launch a march. And there is also a very small window using which you can click on the player that is in the process of teleporting and quickly launch a scout or an attack. The scout or attack will point to the new direction that the player has teleported. And that way you can chase the player on and on and on. But of course, if you are fast enough in teleporting, there's the way to escape that by maybe spamming this. For example, you spam this twice in quick succession, there's virtually no way to catch you. Like, you cannot find the player quickly enough in order to chase them down. But if you do want to chase them down and they are very slow at teleporting in quick succession, then it is a viable strategy to send a march or send a scout in order to point to their new location. So that is fact number 4, I believe, or fact number 5, which is how to chase the player. Fact number 6, which is something that should be very obvious, but somebody actually pointed this out to me that they did not know it was the case. And that is when you are speeding up. Let me find an enemy that is further away. When you are speeding up, it is much cheaper to use let me use this. It is much cheaper to use the 400 gem speed up than it is to use the 2k gem speed up. And this should be very evident just by looking at the number itself. I believe just through a rough estimation, it is about half the price, a little under half the price, to use the 20% march speed up as opposed to 50%. Of course, in circumstances where you are racing, for example, for the Battle of the Battle of Destiny center first capture, then you would want to spam the 2000 gem speed up like your life depended on it. So use this in pretty much any scenario where you are not racing or burning a player, because a player, if you can catch them naked, then it is very a powerful move to quickly attack them and burn whatever defenses they have while their main marches are out. Because the faster you do it, the higher the chance of success that you have. Now, fact number 7, I think, I should really keep track of this, is in the context of in the context of Chaos of Hell. And you know, the Chaos of Hell is an event where you farm very useful upgrade materials for your Lord medals. So these things. And the way to take advantage of them is that between 20 waves, there are 3 waves that only targets a subset of your alliance players, about 20 of them or so. And those waves give you much more points than every other wave. So that is waves 7, 14, and 17. So wave 14 is the primary wave to pay attention to, and 7 to a much lesser degree. But what players can do is that you can recall the defending marches between waves like around 12 or 13 in order to place them to where the wave 14 will hit. So wave 14 will only hit about 20 players. So you would recall, you can use your instant recall for that and redistribute your marches to those castles. So the way to do that will be to go into your war menu and find which castles are being targeted by the so-called berserkers. And using that method, you will be able to get a leg up against your teammate in Chaos of Hell. And that is very useful because Chaos of Hell is one of your primary sources of farmed Lord medal materials, and you need a lot of them to upgrade these medals. So this is a very important tool that beginner players can use to push ahead. The next tip is that higher rally size actually does not mean a stronger rally. And the way I can demonstrate that just numerically is, say you are facing an opponent with 1 million rally defense, and you are launching a solo attack of 250,000. And say you are very strong. You're a Glorious 10 full T12.5. Now some noob joins your team with tier 1 troops. And now you suddenly have a rally of 500,000. So 500,000, obviously that's more troops than 250,000. But you will find yourself losing or getting hurt way more against that 1 million defense compared to if you just ran solo with your 250,000. And that is because the damage formula is separated into two components. You can review my first video on the damage formula to get the details. But basically, one component is your unit count, and the second component is the minimum army size between either you or your opponent. So when you are attacking with a solo attack of 250,000, the minimum army size is 250,000. So your opponent's damage is actually restricted by your 250,000 army. If someone joins you and your army size grows to 500,000, then your opponent's damage is restricted to the minimum between him and you. And in this case, it's 500,000. So his damage is actually the square root of 2 higher than it was before. And your damage, your damage is boosted by a bunch of T1. So it doesn't increase at all. So what ends up happening is that you end up taking more damage without being able to deal more damage to your opponent due to the higher unit count. And to make things even worse, the more troops you lose during the battle itself, the weaker your damage will be. So for example, if you start with 100,000 and you lose 50,000, I'm not too sure whether there is a difference in the troop quality, like whether troop quality affects the rate at which your damage decreases. But if everything was on the same tier, then if you lose like 4 times the troops, then your damage will drop by 2. So that is basically the why bigger rally doesn't necessarily mean a stronger rally, especially if the rally initiators are very strong players and the rally joiners are much weaker players. And that is really just an unfortunate fact of the game mechanic. And there's really not much way around it. And this is also why rallies consisting of only Glorious 10s or very strong players are so very powerful, because they can harness the full force of the entire rally size. So if your opponent is running a 1 million defense and your 1 million rally consists of only Glorious 10s, then that will be a very powerful attack. Of course, in the context of Season 7, single rallies really doesn't matter. You do double rally. So thankfully, it doesn't have too much of an impact overall. But if you are running 777, for example, or 577, then you would want to run. Then you would want to have stronger players join your rally rather than weaker players. So next fact is, I guess, just a minor fact on performance gain with respect to Glorious tiers. And in reality, and typically in most games, as you upgrade, the cost will increase and the gain you get from that cost will decrease. So in other words, the more you spend, the less you gain from what you've spent. And that is really what min-maxing means. It's the definition of min-maxing. However, in this game, you actually gain more power the more you upgrade. So for the cost of going from Glorious 8 to Glorious 9, for example, is lower than the power you gain from going from Glorious 8 to Glorious 9. So really rush the Glorious tiers, because that will bring you a lot of power. And the more you rush it, the more efficient it actually gets. And really the emphasis is to not stress the cost too much, because I know Glorious 8 through 10 is very expensive, but of course it's much easier to do now. But the power you get from it is much greater than the cost that gets put into it. And the more you upgrade, the more power you actually get. And I guess I can go over two more. I don't know whether I'm at 9 or 10 or 11, but this is something that should be very obvious, but some players still fail to grasp this concept. And that is 4-star heroes with max skills is almost equivalent to 9-star heroes without the awakening skill. And that is because the stats you gain from the extra stars themselves from 5 to 9 is almost negligible. So if you were to check my stats when I'm attacking this PvE mob, I have a 1442 attack, and this is my this is my infantry attack. So in order to calculate your real attack, of course, you add the infantry attack to the total troop attack. So in actuality, I have 1842% attack. And what does my hero contribute towards that? So by the time that my hero is 4 stars, let me just check his stats. So by the time my hero is 4 stars, he will have around, I'm guessing around 200%. So between 4 stars and 9 stars, what you're really gaining is maybe 200% more. And that 200% more, at least to me, is very negligible. It is about a 5% increase in attack and a 5% increase in defense. And that does not translate to pretty much anything in practice. So for more free-to-play or lower spenders, although your stats will be much lower, the same concept still holds. The stars themselves really do not matter above like 6 or 7 stars. Keep your hero at even 4 stars if you can, unless it's one of those heroes that really should be maxed. And those heroes include Kellerman. They include probably not Michael. So Kellerman, who else? Who else really? Like, I really mean really. Yeah, that's it. Kellerman. I cannot think of a single other hero that really shines once awakened for both the Battle Disorder and outside of it. And Kellerman shines especially in the Battle Disorder because the disarm skill is unique to Kellerman and Kellerman only. And disarm is so powerful in the Battle Disorder that non-Kellerman composition kind of just suffers. And finally, I should mention that Michael, his awakening skill gets used normally until he is awakened. Once he's awakened, he actually releases his awakening skill at the beginning of the battle. So this is pretty much a game changer for Michael, because if you are attacking a non-awakened Michael, for example, you will use your awakening skill before he does. And that has a lot of impact because the awakening skill reduces the damage dealt by your opponents that takes the hit, which is both the infantry and the cavalry. And when you are equipping the armor, the same concept applies. If the hero you are equipping the armor with is awakened, then you will be able to unleash the awakening skill at the beginning of the battle. And that is really important compared to, for example, not being able to do that, basically. So that is my list of fun facts. Hope you guys enjoyed that and look forward to my next video.